uhan alla voisi olla joko Vallu, Pok tai Julia.
Alright, so I am 99% sure the subtitles for this season were AI generated. They get a lot of things wrong, and I'll point out some of the funniest ones, but I promise you, this castaway's name is not Cock. To prepare for Australian Survivor vs. the World, I've been watching Survivor Finland Season 7, or as the Finns call it. Wait, no, I've got this.
Tämä on Selviytyjät Suomi.
Selviytyjät Suomi. Nailed it. It feels weird to say, because when I lay it all out there, it seems like I should hate this version of Survivor. But I actually think it may be one of the better ones. It's definitely an underrated one. So today I'm going to talk about why Selviytyjät, you know what, can I please just call it Survivor Finland for the rest of the video? Thank you. I'm going to talk about why Survivor Finland is actually a pretty awesome season of Survivor. As far as spoilers go, I'll do my best not to show anything too explicit. I'll only use clips from the pre-mids of the season, and I'll try not to hint at anything that happens post-mids. But if you're a super eagle-eyed viewer, you might get spoiled about certain tribes going to tribal council, twists that are in the pre-mids, the kinds of challenges they have, stuff like that. Let's get into it. So why do I feel like I should hate Survivor Finland? Well, you know how people call the new era of Survivor Budget Survivor? Because they're reusing all the challenges and they're stuck in Fiji? Yeah, Finland is definitely on a lower budget than that. But you know how Survivor New Zealand was actually the most budget version of Survivor? With a prize of only $250,000, a tribal council with some of the most horrific lighting I've ever seen in my life, challenges that looked extremely cheap, oh yeah, and challenges that literally fell apart and tried to kill people? Lisa hates this clip, but I have to roll it. Sorry, Lisa.
He's spinning! Fly now!
Well, Finland is on a lower budget than that. Finland isn't 26 days, but it's not 39 days either. It's 34 days. And the prize isn't $1 million or 600 grand by the time Obama takes it.
It's not even $1 million, it's 600 grand by the time Obama takes it.
It's not $500,000. It's not $250,000. It's not even $100,000. It's 30,000 euro.
Täällä on luvassa 30 000 euroa sekä himoittu selviytyjätitteli.
I'm not saying 30,000 euro is a terrible amount of money. If every single person watching the video liked and subscribed, I would not make close to 30,000 euro. But hey, feel free to like and subscribe anyway, am I right? But 30,000 euro is not $1 million. There's definitely a difference in the amount of money here, you know? And cheapness isn't the only reason I feel like I should hate this season. It's also a celebrity season. Not just that, almost every single season of Survivor Finland is a celebrity season. Leo Stillman is a famous singer in Finland. Pok is a boxer. Tommi is a radio presenter. I should point out that in case it wasn't clear from my pronunciation of those names, I myself am not Finnish. I do not know how high of a caliber these kinds of celebrities are, but make no mistake, this is Celebrity Survivor. Furthermore, this particular season is kind of a terrible jump into as a Survivor Finland newcomer, because it's a fans versus favorites type season. You've got Helmeri, who's not only a famous scooterist, man, that's the coolest job in the world, why did I become a lecturer again? But he also played in a previous season. Same with Jolan, a famous dancer who played in Season 5. I have to assume that to any Finnish person, this season reads like those fake Redemption Island spoilers with Kimbo Slice idled out Boston Rob, and I was quite skeptical that a celebrity version of Survivor could be good. Okay, I've spent a bit of time explaining why I feel like I should hate everything about this version of Survivor. The cheapness combined with what feels like stunt casting to drive up viewership akin to Australian Survivor. This isn't even mentioning the fact the entire show is in Finnish, a language that I do not speak at all, and none of the language apps are reaching out to sponsor me. The subtitles are kinda bad a lot of the time.
Mä sanoisin, että Joalin on aika kova, koska se on tosi fyysinen peleissä ja se on niinku tosi kova myös strategisesti.
And I have a tendency for my eye to drift out of focus when I'm watching TV, which makes subtitles just a bit more annoying for me. Yet despite these factors that should be working against it, this is the most fun I've had watching a season of Survivor in a while. It's amazing. There's so much good for me to get out of it, and that's what I'm going to talk about for the remainder of the video. But I am serious when I say that Survivor Finland 7 may be my favorite Survivor season I've seen this year. Granted, the competition is Brain vs. Brawn 2 and Survivor 48, so it's not the highest bar, but still. Let's start with that low budget I was complaining about. How do you think this impacts the challenges? Do you think this means they have really weird challenges that are rip-offs of the US version of Survivor but done poorly, like some versions of Survivor I can think of? No, actually. I mean, there are some US rip-offs, none of them feel like they half-arsed it. When they steal from US Survivor, they steal challenges that make sense, and can be well executed within the constraints they're clearly working with. Like, this challenge here is not only iconic, but it's kind of impossible to mess up. And the original challenges, or at least original as far as I'm aware, are really fun as well. There's a challenge in episode 2 where the castaways need to move a cage through an obstacle course until a member of the opposing tribe puts a break into the mechanism, stopping them from unspooling the rope any further. Then, they need to send one of their own tribe mates to remove the blockage from the mechanism and ring a gong. Oh, sorry. Ring a Kong? Yeah, these subtitles are bad. It leads to a really interesting back and forth struggle where there's a balance of teamwork and hero plays coming into it. Do you send your fastest person to take out the break, meaning they aren't there to help you move the cage? Who do you send to climb the tower over and over again? It's fun, and actually I think US Survivor should steal this one. There's also a challenge where they need to retrieve cubes and solve a puzzle. The puzzle itself is really simple, it's just making all rows, columns and diagonals sum to 15 with the numbers 1 through 9. But I'm pretty sure the US Survivor has never done it, so points for originality? Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. Where the real fun comes in is getting the puzzle pieces. The tribe is tied together and tied to a pole with a sort of bungee cable, meaning you really need to hurl yourself full tilt boogie to get those pieces. It's a small thing, but it's unique, and it feels like they're playing to their strength when it comes to the budget, with unique challenge ideas instead of trying to replicate something they clearly wouldn't have the resources to replicate. I mean, come on, I'm 99% sure they don't even have the Dream Team, or at least they definitely don't have the budget to film the Dream Team testing the challenges. When they explain the challenges, they use clips from the actual challenge, and you can even align them up perfectly with what happens later in the episode. So good on Survivor Finland in this department for playing well with what they have. I was also worried that the casting will lead to players that just didn't care, celebrities who are trying to get back into the spotlight and boost their relevancy, further exacerbated by the pitiful prize pool compared to their counterparts. But that really wasn't the case. I loved a lot of the cast this season and really feel like they were here to play Survivor. Tommi is a massive fan of the show, was amazing to watch from the get-go, and if you aren't rooting for him on Versus the World, you know what, that's fair. You're allowed to root for Lisa instead. But Tommi should be a close second, he's actually really fun to watch. If Survivor was just a contest about being the best at being outside, Tommi would win. You've also got Helmiri. I love Helmiri so much, he's such a rascal. Verpi was extremely funny to me. Yasmi was an iconic character too. I don't want to get into too much with regards to the characters, but I genuinely think I enjoyed or at least had some sort of emotion towards every single one of them. This was because of another aspect of Survivor Finland that they did it really well. They really let every single character breathe. I felt like I've been taken back in time. Watching episodes of the show felt like watching old Survivor, but with the runtime of Australian or New Era Survivor. It was great. They'd finish a challenge and then they'd cut back to the winning tribe just to show off how they reacted to their victory. That's not something you see all the time in US or Australian Survivor. They really let it breathe and showed how every single minute on the island is playing into your personal interactions and feelings towards each and every person you're stuck with. Watching the season felt like if Australian Survivor didn't decide to turn to the skid as hard as possible after Champions vs Contenders, and instead went the route of using their extra runtime to really flesh out the castaways. I understand the personal dynamics at play here. I get to watch two people just argue about whether or not they should extend a clothesline. I get to bear witness to them hating each other over the stupidest things. There's just clearly so much skillful editing going on here to tell a clear story, but also an exciting story. It really is a marvel to watch. The twists aren't even that obtrusive either. The season came out in 2022, so this means Australian Survivor had just finished airing Blood vs Water, and US Survivor had just finished airing Survivor 42. So there was no shortage of twists for them to draw inspiration from, both for the good and the bad. So what did Finland decide to take? Well, you've got what you'd expect. There's the tribe swap, there's the hidden immunity idol. Oh no, sorry, the immunity amulet.
Koskemattomuusamuletin. Tämä amuletti suojaa käyttäjäänsä, kun se esitetään heimoneuvostossa ennen ääntenlaskua.
It's just an immunity idol. We've also got the shot in the dark, except here it's called the Dice of Fate. Wait, shouldn't it be called the Die of Fate? Because there's only one of them? Whatever. Except the Die of Fate is so much better because instead of pulling a random scroll out of a bag and handing it to Jeff and having him read whether or not you hit the 1 in 6 chance of being safe, they actually roll the die. Do you know how long I've wanted this? Do you know how much the shot in the dark has pissed me off? Not because it is a bad twist or anything, but solely because they do not let the castaways physically roll the dice for their 1 in 6 chance at immunity. Oh my god, it's so good. Is it cheesy? Yes. Do I think it makes the show better? Yes. 100% yes. This is the only thing I need US Survivor to change. They also have a nice outpost, kinda like Survivor New Zealand Thailand every now and again. It's not perfect, I think the tribe swap twist they did there was kinda dumb, but I think it's inoffensive. Not all the twists are winners, but I said I wouldn't talk about any post-merge stuff, so you'll have to discover that for yourself. The set design for the show is also oddly terrific. I know it's a lower budget, but this tribal council is stunning. This is amazing. Look at how fair the seating is. No more unfairness when the tall people always needing to sit at the back to make the shot work. I've already talked about how much I love the dice tower, and the snuffer and torches could definitely use some work, but I feel like a lot of love went into this season of the show. Although here are some survivorisms that seemingly failed to translate, I am going to explicitly spoil the first episode of the show now to make fun of the subtitles. So please skip to this timestamp if you don't want explicit spoilers for the very first episode of the season. The time where I warn you is now over, and I now begin to make fun of the subtitles.
Tuli edustaa elämää, ja kun soittu on sammunut, kilpailu on ohi. Heidi, Heimo on puhunut.
What is that phrase?
Onko Timur valmiina? Onko parat valmiina?
Why do they sometimes translate the tribe name instead of just saying the tribe name?
Ainakin mun nähdäkseni peli on alkanut. Leo ja Pok on niinku jo nyt.
His name is Pok, it's not that hard. Is Survivor Finland perfect? No. Despite my praise, I do think it's like an upper tier average season of Survivor. To me, it's most comparable to Survivor Vanuatu. It's a great time, it's undeniably a good season of the show, but it's probably not going to be your favorite. But as my first foray into non-English Survivor, I think it's an amazing place to start, and I highly recommend you seek it out if you can. Which is where things get a bit trickier. I used to be able to share a link to the content, but they've really cracked down on it recently, so sharing the link isn't an easy option anymore. But if you are able to find a copy of this season, again, do give it a go. And if you're excited about seeing the man, the myth, the legend Tommi interact with the woe man, the woe myth, the woe legend Lisa, then please, let me know. Thanks very much for the patience while I've been away. I moved to Australia and started lecturing recently. I'll try to keep the videos weekly, but as I settle into the new job, they may be a bit here or there. Until next time, I've been Henry Hickman Survivor, and I'll see you when I roll my dice of fate.